Hey guys, it's pen mail day again today. Actually, this is not the video I planned on doing today. I was actually going to talk about this particular pen. It was a Wing Sung 590 that I bought some time ago, and I watched someone's video stream that they had online, and I thought, you know what, I'll dig mine out and I'll link it up and I'll play with it again. So I did, and it reminds me of some of the problems I had. I actually had this thing writing really well more than once, and then apparently when it runs dry, it stops. And I don't mean like dry, devoid of ink. I mean I still have a bunch of ink still in here, unless it's such a gusher that it's totally devoid of ink. So let's pull this apart now. Yeah, see, I still got plenty of ink in there. So for the second time, I am reminded as to why I put this pen up. And it first would never write at all. So then I did some nib work on it, and I got some ink to flow very nicely. And apparently once the feed runs dry itself, then you have no ink whatsoever, and it has trouble feeding into the feed from the tube. It'll fill just fine, but getting into the feed and then out seems to be the problem. So that's another pen that needs work. But pen mail today. Let's see, you folks know that if you've been watching, you know that I'm a Waterman fan, and I've got another one still on the way, but I got this one in. This is a, it's got someone's name on it that was engraved into it, which is one of the reasons I didn't have to pay a whole lot for it. But this was probably from, you know, like the 60s, I don't know, maybe, I'm not sure, because there was no model for it, and I got to do some research on it. But, so you've got this not quite semi-hooded nib on it, and you undo it, and you see how the other pen I had, the only reason I played with that one and showed you that one because it had the bag on it. Well, this is the same kind of idea. So instead of having a lever, then you've got an ink bag on it with that little squeeze, the aerometric filler, which I'm not a real big fan of them, but I'm going to have to clean this sucker up. I have not played with it just yet to see how well it fills or writes. So I got a little bit of work to do. And once I get that work done, I may make a video or do a review and do all my research on this particular model. So anyway, I got that done. I got that today. Rather, not got it done, but I got that in the mail today. So I'll be playing with it during my free time. Also, along with that, one of the reasons I thought it was pretty cool is you got a free antique bottle. You can tell it's a really old package, blue-black ink for Waterman, and it had one of the neat things. Waterman has a really good bottle design, and they've been doing this obviously for some time. But see, really old bottle. Not that I cared much about the bottle so much, but the design is still the same even on today, so you can always turn it this way to help ink your pen. So Waterman makes some quality ink. I'm not sure who makes Waterman's ink or if they make their own, but I can tell you that this one actually says bottle design patent applied for. So that's how old this particular thing is. So, and I just thought it was kind of neat. You know, it came with it together with the pen for like 10 bucks. I'll have to look it up. Maybe it was like 15, somewhere in there. So I figured it was worth the gamble. Now, Waterman didn't always make just higher end pens or nicer pens. I mean, there's a Waterman pen out there, an Edison, that I really want. That's like 3,000 bucks. If I could afford it, I certainly would. So I did get this one in the mail. I had to actually order this one from the Netherlands, but it's more like a student pen, a child's pen. So this one came in the mail today, and it's full of nautical flags. And it's got a standard kind of nib, you know, a traditional style nib. And it is a cartridge converter, so neither cartridge nor converter came with this. The good news is I have some on hand. So Waterman actually made some lower end pens as well, designed for children. And I have another one that's on order, and it is going to be I had my choice. I could either get one, it was sort of like this, and it was going to be a clear demonstrator or it was going to be a metal body, so I chose the metal body because they were about the same price. But the Waterman Jif, J-I-F, no, not peanut butter, but a Waterman pen variety. And I don't think they make those anymore, and I think they were predominantly aimed at the European market because that's where I'm having to order them from. And this one actually showed up a lot quicker than I thought it would, so I've got that to play with. My wife had pen mail today as well. She got a new Hero pen that she had ordered, a 5028 Hero, and it's kind of a pinkish purple or purplish pink, whatever you want to call it. And so it just has a much smaller nib than she was used to seeing, so she was a little concerned, but it's got a semi-translucent, you can see through into the feed, and it has a cartridge converter as well that came with it. So we're going to ink this thing up, add it to her spreadsheet of all of her pens, and that was pen mail for today. So anyway, just thought I'd throw that out there real quick, just so you can see what's out there. If you wanted a really inexpensive Waterman pen, you can find them online, and they're only like $10, maybe a couple extra dollars for shipping, so maybe $12. Some people may think that's a little bit much for this. If you're a Waterman collector like I am, my Waterman collection is growing and growing, and I've got more on the way, by the way, for Waterman pens, then it was worth just adding to the collection to have some fun. So that's about it. Talk to you later. That was Pen Mail. Ciao.